Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Funny Things That Happen to Real Estate Agents. Tonight, my guest is Michelle Saward. I think I said that right. From, Michigan. I should have asked for that before I quick booted her off. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, so without further ado, here is Michelle. Is it Saward?
And you got that right. And both.
I'm always nervous about last names because I'm like, I should have asked her how I said that.
But I mean, look at your name.
Nobody can get it right, and it sounds exactly like it's spelled. Staskal, but nobody can get it right.
Okay. I feel you, sister. Saward, I got you. I feel you.
All right, and you are in Michigan, right?
Yeah, just outside of Detroit.
I thought so. Yeah.
You did great.
All right. So tell me a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in the business.
I've been in the business 20 years this month.
Oh, wow.
And there's been a lot of crazy stuff that's happened to me in real estate. I've seen a lot of things.
I bet. Some you can't unsee.
Yep. I've had some falls, not as epic as yours. I've done some stuff like that too. And yeah, so 20 years in the business. I've probably sold over 2,500 homes in my career or something like that. A lot. And I don't know, I have to double check that. But so just to sell that many, you got to go in and out of a lot more.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You've probably been in every town or every home in your town.
Yeah. Have you ever walked into a house before and been like, I've been in your bedroom. I've been in your bedroom before.
No, not yet. I'm too new for that, but soon.
And then the wife looks at you and she's like, what?
I got to tell you this. I'm just going to interrupt because I showed a buyer a house last week, and it was kind of the same thing. Only it was a college rental, and we went down into the basement, and on the wall was this guy, my buyer's name, and his fiance's with him. She's like, "They were here before?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "But your name's on the wall." I'm like, "You sure you weren't here and you just don't remember?" He goes, he didn't even leave that room for a while because he was staring at his name, trying to figure out how his name got there.
Crazy.
It was just nuts. So yeah, I can see me coming across homes that I've been in multiple times.
For
this was different.
For a good time, call Fred. What?
Yeah. No, it said his name, "I'm your best friend" or something. So I said, well, maybe you should take a picture of that and send it to your best friend and ask him what's up. He was completely dumbfounded. But anyway, back to you. So you probably worked with multiple different brokerages over the years, then I would assume.
Yeah. Yes, I have. And I worked with, 3 companies. So this is in 20 years. So I was with one, the starter company. You're there for like 4 years and you realize that was my starter plan. Yep. And then I followed that broker to a little bit outside of my market. And then the market started to crash in 2006 for us.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this isn't working. I need to be more local and close to home. This commute is, the gas money is like my whole commission check. This isn't working. Because homes were like half the price.
Oh, yeah.
So then I ended up at my last brokerage for 9 years. So
I asked you, back when you started selling real estate, do you know what the interest rates were?
Oh, God. Yeah, actually. Oh, my gosh. Do I have it with me? I kept it.
I was going to say, if you have that with you, you're super organized.
I have it in my desk, I think, at my office. It was like this, remember Century 21 gold, like that gold?
Yeah.
Look, and it was like a slide, like a cardboard slide thing or whatever, where you could literally take the little piece of paper and run it down and see what the rates were and get the sales price and the interest rates. And I think the lowest interest rate on there was 5%.
Okay.
It was 5 through 8% or something, or 9 or something it went, because we had 80-20 loans and people had, second position loans at 9% interest and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could give them a blended rate.
Yeah. I think I bought my first house in 2004.
Yeah.
And I had to take out a home equity loan to put a roof on, and my interest rate was 15%.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So this is during that time, actually, during the down economy time. This is where my funny story begins, actually. We're making no money. It's so funny. Ha ha ha! You're broke as ever. No,
Right.
that's not the whole story. And we're done. No, but yeah, it was during the down economy, and I don't remember what year, but I had everything was for sale in Detroit. Like our down economy started in 06. Like the world is like, oh, 2008 was terrible. No. The Motor City, it started in 06 and it went through 11. So we were like the Marine Corps, first in, last out,
Yeah.
And everything was for sale. And so I had this corporate relocation couple coming in. Maybe even from Wisconsin. I don't really remember, but it was probably like something like that. So this corporate relocation couple coming in, they have no idea what our market is like. So of course, those people really want to do some exploring and shopping, and they don't even know what city they want. You know what I mean?
Or what's a good part of town and what's not.
Yeah. Plus everything's for sale. And it was during the time when, like, literally you would show a buyer 17 houses and they would say, we kind of like that first one, but let's keep shopping for another week. And then we'll go back and see that first one again. And it's still available. And now it's $5,000 lower. So the longer we wait to buy, the better off we are. And you're like, no, you're not better off. No, you buy something now. No, but anyway. So I took this couple when everything's for sale, and there are two streets that enter the subdivision, Sherry and Sylvan. So they're both like, start with an S. They're both in the same sub. They're both the entrances to the sub. And we pull up in front of the house, and I think it was supposed to be listed by like Remax, and which is a red, white, and blue sign, right? And there's a local company called Remerica here. I don't know, maybe other states have them, but their signs are also red, white, and blue.
Okay. Are they real estate too, or are they something else?
They're real estate.
Okay.
Remerica Real Estate is also red, white, and blue, and Remax is red, white, and blue. So their signage is different, but red, white, and blue. Right. And so I pulled in, there's Sherry and there's Sylvan. The whole world's for sale. Everyone's get the hell out of Detroit. And my instructions on my listing ticket, right, are door will be open, owner will let you in.
Right.
You've got that before.
Yep.
Okay.
Plenty of times.
We pull up in front and the garage door is open. I'm like, okay. When you go in an attached garage of a house, it feels already to me invasive. Like you should be knocking on their front door.
Right. But
the front door was totally closed.
Yeah.
So, and the screen door, I think, was even open in the garage. So I'm like, okay, the owner's going to let you in. This is how they're preferring to greet us. This is where they want us to enter.
Yep.
And so we walk in, you're in the kitchen from the garage. We walk in, it's a standard colonial. We walk into the kitchen and there's music on in the house. Cause I'm like, I'm knocking, no one's answering. I'm like, hello, real estate. And we step inside and we're standing in the kitchen, real estate, and the music's on in the house. It's a little bit loud, but it could also be mood music. It's at that level where you're not totally sure
what scene they're setting.
Yeah. Is this mood music? Is it okay? They left the door open. The screen door's open. Like it's the main door, whatever is open. So, okay. Real estate. Well, maybe they just left the door open for us. That's what they meant by seller will give you access or seller will let you in. They just left the door open, which that's happened too.
Right.
Yeah. Real estate. You're like, they unlock the door, then the seller comes back and locks it up after. So we go through the whole house, the main floor, the upstairs. Now we're going to go down into the basement, and we look around the whole basement and we hear water running in the basement. We're like, what is that noise? where's it? Is the washing machine on? We hear, what is going on? So we go over and realize, oh my gosh, there's a bathroom down here in the basement. And we go to open the door to the bathroom, and a man yells, just a minute. And like in this angry tone. And we went,
Yeah.
Oh gosh. And he goes, who is it? And I go, real estate. And he goes, real estate? I don't have an appointment. And I go, yeah, now we're like freaking out. I don't have an appointment. And I go, yeah, you do. It says right here, between, 4 and 5 o'clock, and he goes, the water shuts off. And he goes, what real estate company are you with? And at the time I told him wherever I was at, and he goes, I don't have an appointment. And I go, oh my gosh, well, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm sorry. And I go, okay, I apologize. We're gonna go now. And so my clients book up the steps out of that basement. They're like, because the guy's angry and yelling from inside the bathroom in the basement that we didn't know existed.
Right.
And so they book and they take off. So I'm like, oh my God, my clients just got scared and they ran out. So normally I leave a business card. I was so scared, I forgot to leave a business card on the way out the door. Like that's usually like one of the last things that I do, first or last thing coming in. But I was also confused and disoriented coming in, so I didn't leave the business card.
Yeah.
So my clients bolt out the door. I meet them in the driveway. They're like laughing. What the heck was that? I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know that the guy was home. You thought he was gone? I thought, this is my notes. He was supposed to be gone. Like, you kidding? And so we have that little powwow. I go, all right, well, let's go on down to the next one. There's another one down the street because the whole world's for sale.
Right.
Let's go on down the street to the next house. So we go down to the next house. It's vacant. Good. Thank you, God. It's vacant. It's vacant. And you also had this happen where you're showing a vacant house and someone knocks on the front door. Mm-hmm. And it's like a kid collecting for the newspaper or someone saying that they want to cut your lawn or right. Like, yeah. Yep. And so I hear this knock on the door and I open the door at the vacant house. And it's a guy standing outside with wet hair. He goes, I want to know your name.
You're like, dang it, I thought I got away clear.
I want to know your name. The guy's like going crazy. And he's like, my clients are now super scared. He's like, that was breaking and entering. And I'm a police officer.
Oh my gosh.
He got out of the shower and he tracked us down like to the next house. And he's like, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, look, and I'm shaking and I'm like, here's my business card. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, let me see your paperwork that you have access to my house, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I looked at the paperwork and I go, oh, you were listed with RE/MAX. Your house is on Sherry Street? I realized in that moment my paperwork for that house didn't even match. I just totally walked into some strangers.
Oh my gosh. Was it for sale then or it wasn't for sale?
It was for sale, but it was the wrong address on the wrong street. It was the wrong real estate company. And he was an angry, naked police officer.
I bet.
That to do us in. And the funny thing is, a couple years later, I got a phone call from that couple and they said, hey, we really want to sell our house. And we can't ever forget you.
But the cop never called you?
The cop never called me. That couple, the relocation couple, not only did I help them buy a house, I helped them sell their house. And I became remarkable for breaking into properties to get them what they want. So
yeah, that's what I think with the guy I fell in front of. I think I should get ordained and I should marry him and his fiance.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's only right. I mean, because I made such an impact on his life and he imprinted on mine that I should marry them.
You should. Do you agree? Does he think that's a good idea? Have you proposed?
I haven't asked him.
You might.
Or he might never want to see me again. Like the cop with you.
It could go either way. Yeah.
So have you ever ran into that cop anywhere again?
No, I haven't. But that was honestly a terrifying experience that he chased me down.
Yeah.
You get hunted?
Well, he's a cop.
I know, but
that's hilarious.
To be chased down? I don't know. That was pretty shocking. And then one other thing that happened to me, which is like, I think one of the most humiliating things that could have happened to me. It's almost as bad as your underpants. Probably, you're probably still winning, but I had a button-down shirt on where it has that precarious button right where your bra connects. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the first button in the V-neck. Like it's right there. And I was working with these two guys, and I'm leaning across the table, and I said, okay, we're going to have you sign here with my, piece of paper. And I leaned in front of it and I pushed the ink pen over to them, just sort of leaning across the conference table, not knowing that the button totally freaking popped. And so the next part of the V on the shirt was like below the bra. It was like down there.
You were just laying it out for him.
Oh my God. It was wide open, like bra, like a lot of it. And I'm like, and so they're signing the paperwork and they're looking down. And then at some point I grab the paperwork and pull it all together. And I look down as I'm shuffling everything to put it in front of me. And I went, what? Why didn't you tell me this was like this? And I yelled at him.
They realized that it was intentional. You wanted them to sign.
He said, he goes, what? That's how you do real estate. That's how you like it that way. And I go, nobody likes it this way. Buttoning my shirt up. And I'm like, I'm telling you, that next button is like just above your navel. Like it's a big,
Yeah.
Big gap. But yeah, I gave them like I don't want it ever like this. You should know better. You shouldn't have.
This is not how I'm working my way to the top.
No, not it. You gotta know better.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think that would be a little less embarrassing than my underwear though, but it's right up there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because like
it wasn't like Janet Jackson. It wasn't like nipples. It wasn't like that. But
it'd still be pretty embarrassing, yeah.
Still a lot of bra. It's a lot.
Yeah. They didn't mind though. Obviously they didn't mind because have you worked with them again?
Actually, I think I did. I think I did twice. After that, I think I did.
You leave your mark wherever you go. It's your calling card: naked cops and boobs.
Boobs. Yeah, nudity. This is the theme here today.
Right.
Somebody to buy real estate. No, but yeah. So those are like I think those are some of the most remarkable ones that were. Oh my God. Yeah.
Stop dead in your tracks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're like fortunate with the clients that you were working with though, because they must, at least had a sense of humor, both of them, Yeah.
The
couple that you walked in on a cop and the other one. I mean, it could have been bad if it was somebody that didn't have a sense of humor, I suppose,
Yeah.
Which there's plenty of those that would have been like how inappropriate you are and unprofessional and,
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Sam, if you like fall and show your underpants and the fiance, the wife just goes, you know what? We're out of here.
She knew I was no threat. No threat.
Yeah. That would be like, oh my God, something else. I think then at that point though, then you're just grateful that if people are angry, like you're good, goodbye. This is a good working relationship because if this is how it's starting,
yeah,
we are not going to be a fit.
Right. And if I can't pick up my pride in front of you and laugh about it, we're probably not going to get along. You know?
Right. Let me just dust that off.
Yeah. Could you hand me that? Yeah. It's all kinds of embarrassing stuff, though, that happens that, yeah. I mean, I just make sure everybody knows that I am clumsy. I tell all my clients, you know, I have to be careful going down steps, you know.
They're like, does this basement have double handrail? I'll be
Actually, the guy that I fell in front of, it's funny because him and his fiance ended up buying this for sale by owner through me of an older house. And it had like, basement was like stone and like falling apart. And there was a handrail, but hooked to the step. Actually, it was built on the step was an old grinder. Yeah, an old grinder, you know, like you would grind metal.
Oh, okay.
And I was absolutely terrified that I was going to fall down those steps and land on that grinder. So much so that I made him check to see if it was plugged in or not before I went down it.
You're focused on the wrong thing. That's like, I'm afraid I'm going to hit the tree. Ooh, the tree.
Yeah. No, it was a grinder built right on the steps, and I could see this going a million different ways bad for me.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
All the ways in which realtors try to get killed. It's amazing.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, I can do it by myself just walking, but you know, when they put a grinder on the steps, that doesn't help.
Impaled.
Yeah.
Terrible. But yeah, it's I don't know. There's in this industry, there's so much stuff. There's I know I heard a story of a woman burning down a house one time in real estate. I'd like to
a realtor burning it down?
Yeah, a realtor burned it down. Like I would love to find out who that is for you.
That almost happened to me.
What?
Just recently. It was like January, I think. So it was snowy, it was cold, and we were at an inspection. I had the buyer. We were at an inspection, and the inspector had flipped a bunch of switches, and we didn't know what they do. We couldn't see what they did, right? So we went about inspecting the rest of the house. I mean, we went to the basement, we went upstairs, and we were upstairs inspecting a newly done bathroom. And I'm like, do you smell that? And he's like, smell what? The inspector like steps down. He's like, smell what? I'm like, I smell plastic burning, you know? And he's like, oh, maybe it's this new light against the wood in here because it was a new bathroom. And I'm like, it doesn't really smell like wood. It smells like plastic, you know? And so we started looking around trying to see if we could figure out where it was coming from. And the whole house was full of smoke.
No.
And yeah. And
oh my
the funny thing was we had already tested the smoke detectors and they worked, but they didn't go off. So we went back downstairs and we're looking again, trying to figure it out. And then we thought, oh, the oven just spontaneously started on fire, you know, because all the smoke was rolling out from behind this oven. I'm like, well, why would it do that? You know, I'm like, does that happen? I guess I've heard of flames shooting out of a toaster and stuff that's not on, you know, but the oven was smoking. So we killed the power to the kitchen and we pulled out the oven. We thought, okay, we solved the problem. That must have been what it was. And it looked clear. We opened the door and stuff and it looked like it was clearing up. So I'm like, okay, that must have been it. I feel better, you know? And then we waited a couple minutes because we wanted to make sure. And the house started feeling worse with smoke. Here it was. Well, and then we called the seller, or I called the seller's agent. I'm like, hey, can you have the seller come? You know, I'm not comfortable leaving this house. I think it's going to burn down. There's something on fire, you know, and he comes and he knew right away what we did. One of the switches in the kitchen ran an old exhaust fan that was still wired, but he had covered it with insulation when he put in a new switch. So it had lit it when we flipped that switch and left it on, you know, which luckily that was found. I mean, luckily we didn't leave or that whole place would have burned down.
Right.
And the inspector's like, I'm so glad you're here for this so they can't say I did it.
Wow. We would have, oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was just terrified after that because I'm like, oh my God, I'm not leaving until that seller gets here because I'm not going to be responsible for this, you know. But had we have just, you know, left, you know, we assumed that it was a dead switch because you see those all the time in the house that switches do nothing, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And, yeah. It freaked the buyer out really bad. To the point he wasn't sure if he wanted to buy the house or not because we didn't know if there was like major wiring issues or what caused it, you know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The one that I had heard, and I don't know who the agent was, but that she was showing a property and said sort of the same thing. He was like, the client was like, "Oh, is this is a gas stove, right?" "Yeah, it's a gas stove." "Well, I can't seem to get the burners lit if this is gas." And so she took her folder with her paperwork in it and she set it down on one burner while she tried the burner on the opposite side.
Yeah.
And heard it, tick, 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 tick. "Yeah, I can't really get it to go, to light either." "Oh, well," and just let's move on to the next thing, and left her paperwork sitting on the edge of the burner of the stove. And it was just enough where the pilot light had got. And by the time they went to the rest of the house, they came back in the kitchen was in flames.
Oh my
God. And so they exited the house, like you can't cut, and called 911, and they stood in the lawn and just
watch it burn.
Watch it burn.
That's not, because that is her fault.
That was her fault.
That could have been avoided. Mine couldn't have been avoided.
No, yours could not. It sounds like it was a vent in the ceiling. You'd have no idea, but resting your paperwork on one burner while you try the other one, it's a bad idea.
Well, yeah, paper on a stove anytime is. I got to show you this comment, if you can see it on the screen. That
I'm old. I busted my pants one day at work. I had to wear an apron to cover it for the rest of the day. Wardrobe malfunction at work. It's a great source of shame. Yeah. Yep. I bet.
So it happens to men too.
It does happen to men. My husband says, when someone asks me, "When did you guys first meet?" And I'm like, "We met at work." He had a broken highlighter in his back pants pocket and it was all over. He sat on a highlighter and it was broken all over the back of
pants.
That's how we met.
That's funny.
Great story, Michelle.
That's great.
Can't laugh at it. What are you going to do?
I know. It happens to everybody.
That's good. That's good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to pop you off, but don't log off. I'll be right with you. Okay.
You got it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. All right. That was Michelle. Isn't she great? She's so funny. Anyway, so we will see you next week live on Wednesday night again at 7 p.m. Central Time on Facebook and YouTube. If you're in real estate and you have a funny story that you want to share on the show, please send an email to funnythingsre@gmail.com or send me a message directly. Hope to see you next week. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. I'm having so much fun with the show and with real estate, and none of this would have been possible had I not partnered with Chuck and Angela Fazio with eXp Realty. They've helped me grow and are helping me build my business.
Yeah, it's our favorite thing to do, Sam. Chuck and I have been, top realtors in the industry. We've run top teams. We actually had the second largest independent single office brokerage in the world, but we shut it down so that we can move it over to eXp. And so now we get to spend all of our time working with brilliant people like you, helping you build your business in a variety of ways. So if you're interested in hearing about what it means to partner with me, with Sam, with my husband, Chuck, Michael, Reese, Jay Kinder, it can be done. We can all work together. So just give us a call.
I hope